Hi, y'all, and welcome to Monday Night's All Meta Mode podcast with myself and Gypsy. So, myself being Amanda Digger to Guz, because apparently I forgot how to talk today. Yeah, it's been a long week, and it's only Monday. So, hey, Gypsy, welcome back from Louisiana. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, Amanda?
I'm doing pretty well, pretty well. Not a fan of the
Sounds like you.
cold or the dark, but yeah, besides that, I'm good.
Yeah, this time change is already hard. It's cutting into my digging time.
Yes, absolutely.
I, I felt that when I was in East Texas and Louisiana this last week, and I was out in the field metal detecting, and here it was about 6 something, and it's almost, the sun's down, and I'm like, oh man, if I only had 2 or 3 more hours to hunt, you kind of get spoiled in the summertime, but then in the summertime you get the heat, so it's crazy. Yeah, but anyway, and then I know that it's starting to probably cool down where you are. How's the weather there?
Yes, well, this weekend was actually really nice. Saturday was in the 60s. I mean, we're dropping into the 30s in the evening. And then yesterday, I think the high was 55 maybe. Today a lot cooler, and we're now getting back into the, seasonal highs of 40s, 50s, and then dropping into the 30s, 20s. I know north of
Oh,
us, though, they're getting snow, so I told them that they need to keep it up
oh
there
boy.
at least a few more weekends, like especially now that I'm on that permission that you and I got when you were up here, and now I'm finally being able
Right.
to detect it and find stuff. So
Yeah, when I was there, we barely kind of got to scratch the surface on that place. We barely kind of got started, and so I know you got out there this weekend. Tell us about that.
yeah, I on Sunday I got out for a little while. I just had a nice break in the day, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I haven't been out metal detecting by myself and forever. I thought about it. I'm like, geez, I haven't gone out, mudlarking and dump digging. I do that all the time by myself, but actually metal detecting, it's been a while. You were up and the All Metal Militia guys were
Hmm.
here, and then just keep getting out with other people and yeah, so I got out and the first hit was a big dandy button with a design, and I'm like, yes, all right, there's got to be stuff over here. And then the Indian head, and I'm like, awesome, all right, yeah, in this middle of this fields. And so once I start finding stuff, you slow down and you kind of work the area, which is what I was doing, and
Definitely.
ended up with 2 large scents. They are definitely farm field coppers, though. Very toasted, very, very toasted. So,
Wow. Well,
but yeah,
hey, you use the Apex, is that
I
correct?
I did. Been spending more time with it, trying to get a few more hours, and just as much. It's like
Kind of
dating. You
learning the
get to know.
tones
Yep,
and
you get to know it.
yeah, you got to court it for a while and go on a few more dates and get
Yep.
familiar. Yeah.
Exactly.
I like
Exactly.
that. That's hilarious.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like you hit a perfect spot. So, yeah, I would definitely be courting my apex quite often in that same area, low and slow, and go back and forth every which way. See what else you can pull. That's exciting.
Yeah. Yep. So how was Louisiana?
Well, first I went up to visit my parents. My dad, you know, recovering from his surgery. He's doing really well. He even got out and went digging with me one day. Of course, he doesn't metal detect, but he likes to help dig. So it was good to see him doing so well. Of course, he overdid it. I kept telling him not to, but he's very stubborn, kind of like me. um, but yeah, he wanted to dig every target. So if I start digging a target without him while he's digging another target, he stop, mark it, he wants to mark it and dig it for me. But it was fun to get out with him again. And I got out with a couple of friends that I met up with, one from East Texas, and then another one, another friend there that lives not that far too. And I spoke at 2 metal detecting clubs while I was there.
Awesome.
And I just had a lot of fun, got to meet a lot of great people. And then I found a really cool thing. One of those days I found, it was funny. We ended up hunting a park, and we ended up down in this ravine where we saw all this old broken pottery and stuff. And so we ended up mudlarking down there. And while we were down there, it's one of those ravines where the water from the streets washes down through there too. Mm-hmm. And I found a dollar bill.
Awesome.
And so after we had come out of the ravine, we saw that it looked like there was a homestead back behind the trees by the creek. So we went over there and started detecting, and boom, I got a signal. And I got a $, what do you call it, money clip to go with my dollar.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. And then one of my friends, she got a ring, and anyway, it was just a lot of fun.
Awesome.
But anyway, went to Louisiana, and unfortunately, I didn't get to detect with Jace. He was busy that day, and we got started later because of the bad weather, a lot of rain. But finally got to field hunt a little, got some Civil War bullets and other, bits and pieces. But one of the guys found a fragment of, not just a small fragment, a large fragment of a 10-pound cannonball.
Awesome.
While we were there. That was pretty epic. But anyway, glad to be back home, and hopefully get out sometime this week and get to go detecting. I've been editing videos. So for those of you that I just uploaded yesterday, the dig stock video finally. So if you haven't seen it, love for you to go check it out. Amanda's in there just for a little short while. Bill, one of our listeners, is in there for a short while. So a lot of people you might see, a few people a few familiar faces. So go check it out if you can. We had a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. I checked it out today. It was great. All right. Well, now that we've caught up a little bit, and it's crazy that we're still I'm still even being able to get out. But everyone give a warm welcome to Mark Mcmanus. Hey, Mark. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Oh, thank you.
Great to have you here, Mark. Thanks for being here with us.
Oh, it's good to be here. Thank you.
Now, we got to meet Mark when we were at up in New York at Dig Stock, and we'll tell you more about meeting him later, but it's neat to put a face with a name. I'm really bad with names, and so we were talking before the show, and I felt so bad because I remembered your name, but then seeing the name with the face is how it helps me. More of I remember people by faces, and it's great to finally put a name, with the face. So, but Mark, anyway, it was great to see you there, and go ahead, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's start, if you don't mind. Tell us, where do you live? Where are you from?
I'm from New York, a small town just outside of Syracuse, New York.
Awesome. So you're up there with a lot of the older colonial items, too. unlike
Yes,
me here over in Texas.
We're blessed up here. We have some parks around us that have they have some good age to them. So we're very lucky in that aspect with local parks, and they've been hit, but nothing's ever hunted out 100%.
That's for sure. We've learned that for sure, haven't we, Amanda?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So how did you get into metal detecting? Like, how long have you been detecting?
I got into it about 2018. I joined a local Facebook group and just kind of monitored it for a little while, and finally asked. I'm new to detecting and looking for a detector, and this one guy piped up. He says, "Yep, I got a Ace 250 for sale." So we're messaging back and forth, and I didn't know anything about it. And I'm like, "Look, I'll buy this off you if you come out to this old Boy Scout camp to detect." And this guy's like, "Yeah, absolutely. Whoa. This is great, So he shows up and throws a couple of silver quarters on the ground, and he's going through it. Yep. And okay, so we start detecting, and loaned me a Garrett carrot. We're off detecting, and from there I was hooked. I had that machine, and I was off to the races. So.
Wow.
And
what were some of your first finds with that machine?
Oh, that 250 is a coin sniffing machine. I'll tell you what. I was my very first coin with age was an Indian head penny. I found probably 20 foot off my front door, and my hands were shaking, and I was posting it in the Facebook group and bragging on it, and oh boy, and that was that got me hook, line, and sinker right there. So,
that's exciting. Oh wow, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I detected with him quite a bit, but I just wanted to learn more. So what I did was I organized this hunt. I got a permission, and I got on the Facebook group, and I says, okay, anybody wants to come out? I think it was a Saturday. It's in the fall. I'll put some coffee on, and we'll get as many people as we can. I just needed to be around people so I could pick their brains and watch them detect.
Right.
And it just blossomed from there. I made a lot of friends that day, and detecting buddies that I still detect with. So I think like 20 people showed up.
Wow, so, that's awesome.
Yeah, we detected this permission, and there was probably about 20 of us. That was a good day. A lot of stuff come out of that yard. It was great, and to prove that things are not hunted out, a friend of mine, Jim, we were down detecting at this school. We weren't having any luck, so we're like, hey. Jim says, hey, let's go back over there to the lodge. And I'm like, all right, let's go. We get there, and within 5 minutes, I pulled 2 marks out of the ground. So,
wow.
Just goes to say that nothing is totally haunted out.
Yeah, that's so true.
The ground conditions here have been optimal. I mean, we're getting plenty of rain. You can get some cool days. And so the ground is really lighting up really good. So it's one of the best times to be detecting up here is right now.
Oh, that's perfect.
I agree that you don't have the problem with the ticks. There's really no bugs. It's nice and cool. It's when the ground starts freezing that I'm usually not a fan. Or going through giant snowbanks, like you were saying, you went on an Easter egg hunt, one of the White's Easter egg hunts before?
Yes. So White's puts on their annual Easter egg hunt, or at least they used to. and they give you some clues to where they've buried their Easter eggs, and they post these clues, and they were in our Facebook group, and narrowing down a little bit, and I met this a soldier out of Fort Drum. I meet up with him at this park, and we're looking around and whatnot, and he found one, and freezing cold, snow all over the place, and all right, so he goes home, both of us leave. I get talking with this other guy, the guy that I bought my detector off of. I get talking with him, and I'm like, I got to get back to the park. So I get back up there, and I'm like, yep, it's got to be over there. So I park the car, I jump out, and there's a snowdrift, and I'm thinking, yep, and I'm in this big hurry. I get humping across the road there, and I stepped into the snowdrift up to my chest. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I got snow in my boots, and my coat and my arms and stuff. I get over there and get over by the trees, and probably within about 5 minutes, I pulled that Easter egg out. I got that Waite's token. That was pretty exciting that day. So, well. At that time, I was running I had picked up a AT Pro. I was running the AT Pro at that time. So.
Oh, awesome. So let's see, you started out with the Garrett A250, and then you were running, your next machine was the AT Pro?
Yeah, so the guy that I bought my Ace 250 off of, Lou, he calls me up one night and he says, hey, look, he says, I'm selling my AT Pro, and I'm going to sell it to you. I says, you are, huh? He's like, yep, I am. Just before Christmas, And he says, I'm buying a new machine, and I'm gonna hang on to this machine, this AT Pro for you. Pay me when you can. I'm like, well, all right, Lou, no problem. This is great. So about a week later, I met him, and he hands the machine over, and owner's manual and headphones and everything, and so that's how I got my AT Pro. That was he insisted that I buy that from him. It was there was no question that in his mind that machine was going to me. So that's the machine I found the Easter egg with.
Easter egg. Cool. So tell us about some of your favorite finds with the AT Pro.
Favorite finds with the AT Pro. Okay, so if you see the picture, you see the what was there, 4 or 5 coins. There was 3 Indian heads. There was a 2-cent piece and a shield nickel.
Oh.
I found that with the AT Pro. That machine, I'm going to tell you, that's just a workhorse. I mean, the thing is
really
great. I like it. Yeah, I like the tones on it. It's got good tones. I found those. They're all in the same hole. And it just blew me away. I've actually got a video of it, and my hands are shaking. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Right in the same hole. And about a week later, the next yard over I was detecting, and I pulled 3 Indians out of the same hole. So with that machine.
Love those coin spells.
Yeah.
I found silver thimbles and just tons of stuff with the Pro. And I got to tell you this. So this guy loses a wedding ring in a lake. He's out playing football. He's in knee-deep water. He's in this lake, So a couple of guys from the group, and it was this Lou, the guy I got the machine from. He's out there. We're going to meet at the boat launch. So he gets a hold of me, and he says, hey, listen, he says, I drowned my machine. It was a Marco Racer. He goes, I drowned it. It's off at getting repaired. He goes, can I borrow that AT Pro back? And I'm like, yeah. He says, and I got this I got this big Thunder coil on this thing at this rate because it's just great for farm fields, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, you can borrow it back. So I show up and give Lou the AT Pro. It was originally his machine. He's going to take care of it, you know. So three of us go out and we look all day long, you know, all day long out in this water. Couldn't find it. I think it was about a week later with that AT Pro, he found this guy's wedding ring. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was real happy he found that with that machine. That was real cool.
That is awesome. So, what machine are you using now, currently?
Currently, I'm running the Equinox 800.
Okay. Yeah. So do you have some favorite finds with that so far?
Well, I found the boot heel, the heart-shaped boot heel. I found that. Has become one of my favorite finds.
That is an awesome find. I've never found one of those heel plates. I know Amanda has. We were talking about that earlier. Which ones have you found, Amanda?
The hexagon, the heart, and then just the normal like brass with the square in it. But I haven't my wish list. I have the clover on my wish list. I want to find one with the.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, the clover is. When I originally found this boot heel, I didn't really realize what I had, and I had posted it in my Facebook group there, and everybody's like, "Holy cow, look at that!" And I did a little research into it, and I'm like, this is something, sometimes you don't know what you have until you sit back and think about it,
True.
And that thing is. I would like to find the clover. That's on my wish list now.
Yeah. Yeah, our wish lists are forever growing and changing, aren't they, Amanda?
Well, so when I originally started, actually, I had to be a little ways into it. I took a notepad and I actually wrote down like everything I could think of that I wanted to find. And then at the end of the year, what I did is I crossed things off that I had found and put the date that I had found it, and then added things to the list. So the list is never actually getting any smaller because I just keep adding things. But it's really neat. I saved it because I've rewritten it now, but
right.
I have the original, and, each time, I have things crossed off with the dates and whatnot. And I was thinking about actually getting it framed and like filling in, like crossing off some of the others and putting, the rest of the dates. And I thought that would be a neat little.
That's a great idea. What a great idea.
But I figured by writing it helps putting it in the universe. So
it does. I've only written my wish list down one time, and I was checking off a few things when I found it, and I don't even know where it is. I wrote it in one of my little notebooks somewhere, but that would be a really cool thing, and I like your idea about framing it and then writing the date of when you found that item, because I know, Mark, your wish list has probably changed many times. I know earlier when we were talking off air, you mind sharing a few of your wish list, your things that you would love to find with our audience?
Things I would like. I've never found this seated yet, but I am going out this Sunday with a bunch of guys, so cross my fingers there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. The clover heel plate would be nice. That would be pretty good.
Yep.
Finding the silver, and that's great. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's out. I gotta find silver. But I have a big dandy button. that would be kind of cool. I found lots of like shoe buttons and whatnot, but nothing large like a dandy button yet. So.
Everyone in chat keeps talking about the, and it's true, the Conestoga or that bell you found at Digstock was pretty awesome.
Yes, the bell. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to tell you, if I was in a park, I wouldn't have dug that number. Rang up a solid 21 on the knocks.
Probably sounded like a can.
I would have come up. That would have been a bottle cap. It would have been, and I wouldn't have dug it. But you're out there in that field and you're just digging numbers.
Right.
There was four of us from the Syracuse group that went up there, and and everybody did very well. Everybody did good up there. It was a fun trip. I would do that again.
And apparently,
so
one of our listeners in the chat, her husband found a star heel plate. So I might have to add that to the list this year too.
Oh, there you
star
go.
Heel plate.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
So
Mark, you need to make you a list, and I'm going to do this too. I'm going to make a list, and I think what I'm going to do is hang it on the wall in my relic room. And I'm going to do like what you said, Amanda. I'm going to start marking the date of when and checking it off when I find those, and then I can leave some space for like things I want to add to it later.
Yeah.
Like Mark, you can add that. I mean, you can add the star plate, Amanda, and you can add the clover plate, and I can add a plate. I found tons of toe taps. We found a lot of toe taps here, but I've never found the heel plate. I was detecting last year a ghost town with a group of detectorists, and one of the ladies, we were there, found, she didn't know what she had found, and I was like, that's a heel plate, but it was different shaped, and it wasn't like the ones like y'all found. This was brass with one star in the middle, and then it had like 4 other smaller stars around that star. It was really neat looking. And I was like, oh, you found, I was so excited when I saw it, and she didn't even know what she had found. She's like, I didn't know what that was. I was like, it's a heel plate. This is not like the normal ones, it's probably a custom made one or something, but it was really neat. Heel plate she found. So I'm going to do that. Remind me, Amanda. Don't let me forget.
Yep, I will.
Make a list.
Now, Mark, I know that, and we'll get back to some of the other, usual questions we ask, but I know that hanging out and getting to know you at Digstock, you also make quite a bit of things for the different detectors and whatnot. Do you want to talk about that? Some of the 3D printing you do? And
yeah, I do. I make the coil stiffeners for the Equinox. I make those and sell those on eBay. When I first started making them, I'd post in the group, hey, I'm going to be down at this park. Anybody want a coil stiffener? Show up. And I made them with the group's name on them. And, I've made personalized ones, made them for Terry Shannon. I shipped them down to Florida for him. I detect with one of Terry's good buddies, Jim. And, we got him down to Florida for him. And, matter of fact, his latest book, Treasure Coast, he mentions me in his book. If you have his book and you want to see one of my stiffeners, page 219, he talks about me in there.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I make them, and I was at Digstock. I was just giving them away. I had a whole bunch made up, and I was handing them out.
And speaking of that, so you gave me a bunch to give, well, not a bunch, but you gave me some to give away. And so if we have any listeners that are listening right now and perhaps not in chat, or even anyone in chat, if you have an Equinox 11-inch coil and you'd like,
11-inch coil,
yep, and you'd like one of these coil stiffeners, it does say Dig Stock 2021 on it. They're really cool. We're going to do a guessing game. So if you are listening and not in chat and you swing the Equinox, and I'm not even sure if I'm saying that correctly, yeah, definitely jump in chat because we're going to do that here in a second. But oh man, I love the koozies you made too. We've got those. I've got one on my desk for work that I use constantly. And
was that the dirt therapy?
He gave me,
yes, yep.
Yeah, I think that's what mine is too. I use it to slide over my Apex when I travel, because I travel so much, and I can slide it over the screen there, the LCD. It fits perfect. I had no clue about that, but what a great idea. Do you sell those as well?
Yes, I do. Yeah, they're also on eBay. I think the one I have on eBay said I'd rather be metal detecting.
I think that's the main thing.
It's just to slide it, and they slide right over the head on the Equinox also, and just for when you throw it in the back of your car or whatever. And I don't know about most people, but I generally don't leave my house without my metal detector, just in case.
You just never know. You never know.
You never know. So yeah, we have the can koozies. They're fairly popular.
All right. Well, we will be giving away the Dig Stock 2021 coil stiffener. If you don't have, the Equinox with the 11-inch, and you know somebody that does, you can obviously, try to win this as well. So hey now, people, already guessing in here. I haven't even given you the numbers. They're already popping up numbers. So, Gypsy, you want to announce it, or?
Yeah, sure. So let's go ahead and start. But before, you got to wait for Amanda to say go. We're going to let you pick one number between 1 and 200. And the first one that gets, we're going to go with the exact number.
Yes, exact
number will be the winner. And you want to tell them when?
Actually, Mark, you go ahead and tell them when.
Tell them when?
To start.
You can start right now. No better time than
awesome.
the present.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right.
So
I will keep an eye on chat for people guessing. So it's the number between 1 and 200, and so we've gone over the wish list. Do you have I know people talk about white whale. Do you have a white whale or anything like that you're hoping to find? And actually, I'm gonna stop everybody. DF Digger, Dennis, you won. So he guessed 100.
Congrats.
Yep, 100 first. And
Perfect.
if Dennis, if you want to just send me a message, I will get this in the mail to you. So thanks everyone for playing. If you didn't get one, again, they're on. Mark's got them on eBay. So and then, yeah. So it's awesome.
Tell them how to find you on eBay.
What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was just saying, tell them how to find you on eBay, Mark. Do you have like a username or something on there, seller name?
Yeah, it's, in a second, I'll bring everything up here. So we're in the meantime, we were talking about the white whale.
Yes, yep.
Something I would like to find. Okay, and that would be a seeded coin.
Yep, okay.
That would be something that that I have not been able to find at all, And I found a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
All except that. So, yep. So if you go to eBay and you look up Morningstar,
Morningstar.
Yeah, I'll get the spelling for you here. It is MORNSTAR 524.
I'm doing
That's
the
my
quick
name on eBay.
search. Well,
You finding it?
more. I'm looking at the pop-ups are killing me on eBay lately. MORNING STAR 5. Is that what you said it was? Morningstar 5?
No, it's it's MORNSTAR 524.
All right, Morningstar.
So the coil stiffeners, here's the thing with them. Don't use your machine as a golf club. Don't over tighten the bolts. Keep it clean. Take that coil off. Clean it out. The teardrop washers. Replace them. You can buy a package of them. There's tons of hobby shops out there. You can replace them. And it's the rubber washers are cheaper than replacing the whole coil. If you look around a lot of these detectors now, guys, it's just, a lot of it's just bling, like the snake skins and whatnot. It just turns into bling. Everybody's trying to dial up their machines, carbon fiber shafts and whatnot. So, but if you take your coil off, replace your washers, don't over tighten, it should last you a lifetime. Is there a flaw with the machine? Possibly. I can't say whether there is or whether there isn't. But you just have to take care of your machine, So I've been working with a friend of mine, Viddy, from West Shore Hobbies. I talked to him Friday night for over an hour. And I'm making different parts for different machines and whatnot. So
that's awesome.
But the main thing it would be to just take care of your machine, keep it clean, keep your eye on it. There's a problem going into it, so keep inspecting it. That's my take on it. The stiffeners, do they add? Yes, they do. The ones that I make and sell, they come with zip ties. If you were to break it out in the field, you could put this on, zip tie it down, bam, you're back detecting.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I've got a question for you, Mark. I'm sure that you've ran across some kind of a lot of us in the field, we have found some strange finds or some odd finds. And if we haven't, sometimes it doesn't have to necessarily be a metal detecting find. Maybe you've found something or something strange happened to you while you were out metal detecting. Do you have any of those type stories to share with us?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I hook up with this guy Billy in our group, and he's a new detector. I love hunting with new detectors. If you're in a Facebook group and there's a guy saying, "Hey, come help," go help him. Man, because guys like that, they open up new permissions, and they're great to detect with. They don't slow you down. They don't slow me down.
Right.
So anyways, I hook up with this guy, Billy. We go to this park, first time I ever met the guy. And this park turns into a dud. There's nothing. It's just, there was no age to it, So I'm like, hey, let's run over to this other place. Okay. So on the way there, I see this grassy area, and I'm like, oh, man, I stop, jump out. Okay, check this out. It's a park. He's like, yeah, great. So I run up real quick, and I'm detecting. 5 minutes, I pull an Indian out. I'm like, wow, this place is going to be awesome. A couple of minutes later, I come around a tree, and here's a tombstone laying flat. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm looking around. I'm like, this isn't a cemetery. Can't be. So I go over to Billy, and I'm like, hey, there's a tombstone. He goes, yeah, there's one over here. And I'm like, oh, crap, dude, we're in a cemetery. Looking on the map, I'm like, doesn't say cemetery. I'm like, but I'm not going to be here. So I left. A couple of days later, I got this Indian in my pocket. A couple of days later, I go out with another guy we're detecting. He had this great permission, and I'm out there detecting. He's coming in behind me. He's digging these Indian heads. He's like, you're walking over the top of them. You're missing stuff. What's going on? I'm like, oh man, it's that Indian head I dug out of that cemetery. I got the bad juju going. So for about a week, I'm just sweating bullets. I'm like, all right, I got to take care of this. So I drive all the way back out to this park in this little town, walk up into the cemetery, took a pencil, stuck it down on the ground, put the Indian head back, stood up, said, I'm sorry I disturbed you guys, and walked away. And my luck instantly changed after that. It was great. That was crazy.
Oh, wow.
That is crazy.
That is crazy. Wow.
So, yeah, I had to, the minute I put that back, luck turned right around. So,
Yeah, and it's not like you knew that you were in a graveyard until after, that's even, yeah.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I see a couple of tombstones laying flat. I'm like, no, we got to go. So, yeah, I had the bad juju going there for a little bit. And once I put that Indian head back and apologized to everybody in there, luck turned right around. So.
Wow. Interesting.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So if you could detect, this is our usual questions, if you could detect anywhere without any laws or anything like that, where would you detect and why?
Central Park. I'd just bring my tent down there and camp out for like 2 months in the summer and just detect Central Park.
I've heard, I know a couple people out that way that they'll go out after a heavy rain and they can spot stuff on the surface, like marbles and buttons and a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm like Central Park. I'd like to find like I've never found an arrowhead, things like that. I'd like to find. But I haven't put myself in a position to find arrowheads. I've detected in farm fields and whatnot, and but I just haven't done enough research to come across them yet. So.
Yeah, I know that there was a field over at Digstock where there was a lot of native stuff, and I know there were a few people that found some interesting native artifacts. Do you remember that one on the table?
The giant one? The huge one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Massive.
I remember seeing it.
There was, quite a bit found. I'm lucky that I live in an area where there was a lot of Native American in the area, but even way back to paleo, so there's even older type relics that you can find here. In fact, you remember that last point I found? I was out, I had made that little TikTok video of it. It's missing the point. Amanda, you remember that?
I do.
I was showing that to my brother, and my brother told me that was paleo.
That's cool.
And yeah, and I also found out that had been reworked probably several times by someone that knows a lot about relics and artifacts like that. I showed it to someone, and they said, yeah, this one was reworked, reused, and then probably several times. And then finally, probably when that tip broke off that last time, they just, discarded it.
Tossed it.
So it's crazy.
So, Mark, we have a question in chat. It's a follow-up question to your Central Park. What draws you to wanting to metal detect that?
It's a big park.
Yeah.
New York City. I don't know. It's got a lot of history to it.
I could just imagine the number of picnics and silver and personal belongings and pocket watches and heel plates, right?
Yeah, so, what I do is at night, get home, I just do research. I look at old atlases. I go to Library of Congress, and I look at atlases for whatever county that I happen to be detecting in. And it'll bring you back to 1800s. And you look, you can follow it around and say, oh, there's a house here, and you're looking on, you got one on your tablet and one on your computer, and you're looking at them, and you're like, no, that's not there anymore. This road's not there, and there used to be houses down in here, and let's go get permission. And, that's what I like to do. When I'm not detecting, I'm usually sitting there studying atlases or old maps.
So what other types of treasure hunting do you do? Do you do any others, like magnet fishing or anything like that?
No, I don't do, I haven't magnet fished. I've thought about that. Over the weekend, I was down in Pennsylvania and hit up about 5 different antique shops.
Oh, that's cool.
I love the antique shops. I love the thrift stores for the reselling, and
definitely
that's always a lot of fun. You're always on a treasure hunt, no matter whenever you walk into any place, you're looking for this, you're looking for that. So. And you never know what you're going to find.
So true.
So,
is there anything you keep in mind when you're walking into those stores that you're hoping and looking for?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I just kind of like digging through the piles of whatever they have on the table, and it's usually anything old or whatnot. So.
You sound like me. I just never know. I mean, that's the fun thing about thrifting and garage selling and all of that. And, is you just never know, just like metal detecting, you never know what you're going to dig up next. And it's the same when you go to those thrift stores or, you just never know what you're going to happen upon. So it's the thrill of the hunt.
I never realized what was in the ground until I got a decent machine. When I first got the Ace 250, I had no clue. My yard has been a treasure trove. It's amazing what has come out of my own yard. And I just had no idea. And I got a silver thimble out of my own yard. It's just
that's incredible.
Yeah. it has, yeah, I had no idea what I was in for, you know. And you start watching YouTube videos, and you know, you start seeing what other people are digging, and it's just amazing. You know, you go into a park and it's, you know, it's like I said, nothing's ever haunted out. You know, I pulled a nice Indian out of a park in a specific area that you know, a buddy of mine's like, no, we hunted that really hard. Well, the ground is just perfect conditions right now. You know, and I pull an Indian head out of this little area, you know. So, you know.
Wow. So true. Mark, we ask usually before we start wrapping it. Sorry, did I cut out for a second?
You did. Are you still there? Well, I'm guessing you are.
All right. Sorry. Anyway, so we like to close with a question that it sounds kind of silly at first, but it's kind of fun to think about. And it's one I think one of our listeners had kind of asked one time when we were asking that we were, you know, they were throwing out questions in chat, and it's kind of stuck as a tradition. And but if you could be a superhero, or let's say you dress up like a superhero, and you were out metal detecting or treasure hunting, and let's say when you dressed up like this superhero, you got their powers, whatever powers that would be. What kind of superhero do you think you would be?
I don't know. I mean, first thing that comes to mind would be Superman. Get a little X-ray vision going on, so you wouldn't even need a detector. But then that would take
exactly. Right.
Probably somebody like Captain America. Have a little bit more strength. You know, my shoulders get a little sore after a few hours of detecting. You know, that would.
Right. That's a good one. I like that.
Just to have
yeah, it would be nice to, especially as we age. I get all these new body aches. Like, I don't know about y'all, but yeah, just being out in the field this last week and walking in that field for a long period of times, and I was walking in rubber boots. By the end of the day, boy, my feet were killing me. My arm too. But it's nice. It would be nice to have that extra little strength and superpower there to keep you going for sure.
Yeah.
So do we have any more questions for Mark in the chat? Anybody like to ask Mark some questions?
Well, you're waiting for that. I gotta tell you about the two rings that are in the picture that I sent.
Okay.
Oh, in the advertisement?
No, the two pictures, the gold and the silver ring.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm out detecting with Jim, and it's raining. It was a nice warm day. It wasn't cold or nothing. It's raining, sprinkling, and we're detecting and whatnot. And it started to rain a little bit harder, so we go under this tree, and we're just standing there talking. And I wave my detector back and forth, and I get this great signal. It's coming up silver. I'm like, well, I got to dig this one. So I dig the hole, get down there with a pinpointer. It's all mud and whatnot. It wasn't really too terribly deep. And out pops this gold ring. And I jump up, and I'm like, holy moly, and cleaning it off, trying to get the mud off of it to figure out if it's gold. And he's like, yep, it's gold. Look at, boy, it's nice and shiny. Yep, cover the hole back up. And he says, what'd that ring up as? I says, well, come up about a 32. He says, well, gold don't ring at 32. I says, you know, you're right. So I flip the plug back over, and I get down in there with a pinpointer, and out pops that silver ring out of the same hole. I'm like, well, holy cow. Got a gold ring and a silver ring out of the same hole. All because it was raining.
Wow.
That was great.
Wow. That's an awesome feeling, isn't it? Oh, man.
So, I gotta say this. One thing I've gotten out of metal detecting, I've got a lot of friends. I've made a ton of friends out of this hobby. If this hobby's gotten me anything, all the trinkets and jewelry and coins, and put all that aside, I've made some good friends out of this by doing this.
So
I've met
true.
people
That's
I
the
never would have
greatest
met.
treasure.
That is right there. In my opinion, that is. I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for this hobby. I wouldn't have met you guys if it wasn't for this hobby. Having coffee with Amanda in the morning and going over strategies and talking about this and that, I'm thinking, here I am, just picked up a detector, a few years ago, and I'm at Dig Stock, and I'm eating KG and Ringy and Nugget Noggin, and it's like, holy cow, and we're all detecting in the same fields, and we all got the same opportunities.
Yep.
So true.
We're all I know that we were all, and even Sonia too, because she stayed at the same hotel as us too, and we were all like strategizing, like, all right, we did this field, but the farmer was at this field. It was a lot of fun. It was great. I'm glad, it was awesome just to be able to all talk and, where are you going? And I agree. It was awesome. Awesome.
I was, and I said this before, I'll say it again. It's not like the YouTubers got whisked away to special fields so they can make their videos. We were detecting in the same fields, crossing paths, and that meant a lot to me. That everybody was equal. It was up to you and your detector out there, and those fields were big. There was no question about it. They were large. So
a lot of ground to cover, that's for sure. But definitely the friendships and the people we meet, that's what makes this hobby great. And they're the greatest treasure. So so glad we got to meet you there and get to know you a little better. And just wanted to thank you for being here tonight.
Yep.
Especially as a guest. So appreciate you and what you do for our hobby.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys for taking the time and the energy to put this together.
Yeah, it's fun. It's great. We get to talk to all different types of treasure hunters at all different levels and all different states, and hopefully here soon, maybe even different countries. So it will be It's a lot of fun. So yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again, Mark. Y'all be sure and if you're interested, check out his eBay account. And you shared that in chat. Is that correct?
Bill found it and he shared it, and
Bill
I'll share it
it
again. Yep, and I'll share it again right now too.
Thank you, Bill. And you can also find him on Facebook. Is there any other kind of social media or groups that they can find you in?
No, just on Facebook. There's Syracuse Metal Detectives. That's our local Facebook group. I can give them a shout out. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for members of that group. Really helped me out a lot. Met a lot of nice guys in that group. So
awesome.
And your latest video there, Gypsy, you had a nice shot of my buddy Royal. He was wearing a "You're Digging It" shirt in your video. That was really cool to see. When I watched that video, and I'm like, oh my God, that was the guy I was split a room with at Dig Stock, and there he is in your video.
Awesome. That's good. I wanted to show so much more photos and video, but my video was already so long. I could have went on forever, and I've learned, unfortunately, with a lot of people's attention spans, to leave it kind of short and sweet. So 20 minutes, I think, was long enough for everybody's attention span. But I had so many more photos and more video to share. But anyway, it was fun to recap, some of that. So
Yep.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well,
unfortunately, we're out of time for tonight, but we appreciate you, Mark, again. And thank you all, everyone that's listening tonight. We appreciate all of you, and hope you'll join us next week. And y'all just keep digging it. We appreciate it.
have a good night, all.
Good
night, all.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you. All right.